Right, guys, I'm with the guy who slayed the giant, the big bad Bradley Martyn. Okay, you've all seen it by now. We've had the video go viral multiple times online. You've got people like myself, the reaction channels, all reacting to it. Here we have Georgio, and he's proved the size doesn't matter. Georgio, how does it feel to be the guy who finally beat the beast in Bradley?
Yeah, man, it's been amazing and it's been a long time coming. I've actually been going to zoo culture for 3 years, and my goal has always been to get Bradley to wrestle me because I watch him online. He's like, "Oh, but I'm 260. I'll beat you. You think you could beat me in a fight?" Obviously, he makes all these videos with these influencers. I'm like, man, I can't wait till the day I get Bradley to wrestle me. And I actually have asked him a couple times, but he never wanted to do it. You know what I mean? The anniversary was my moment where he would have fans around and he would try to say no, and the fans would be like, "But you're 260, but you're 260." So I capitalized on that moment, man, and it was awesome. The way it happened, I was actually trying to get him to come to the wrestling mat with me, but he kind of cheap shotted me, threw me off guard. I wasn't even looking when he did it, but I'm not complaining. I'm glad he did it because that gave me that opportunity to get right in on his leg, take him down, and show him that, hey, man, you may be 260. I'm 160 pounds, but my technique and my skill is going to outdo your strength every time. Just because someone's big doesn't mean they have skill. Yeah, anyone can pick up weights and lift weights. It takes dedication to get that big, of course, but lifting weight isn't going to give you combat skills. Lifting weights isn't going to make you good at wrestling. It's not going to make you good at boxing. It may help with some strength, but it's not going to give you technique for another sport.
Yeah, man, I'm so glad that you touched upon that because anyone who's been tuned into my channel will know that that's pretty much what my channel talks about all the time is fighting and fitness and the relationship between the two. You're clearly a guy who does both. You getting Bradley there was perfect timing. All the cameras were on him. Everyone had the phones out. Like, everyone was going, "You're 260. I even said in my video, everyone's putting the pressure on him. He's got to do it now. I've covered this entire Bradley Martyn saga about him challenging professional fighters. And it always felt like it was out of reach, that we'd never see Bradley. It's funny to even talking about this. It's like, what are we talking about? But I just love like combat and this debate and this arguments between like size and skill. But it's funny the fact that we see someone like yourself just come out of nowhere, and then you're the one who got him down, and he got the cheap shot on your face.
That was a great moment for me. But I don't want everybody on the internet to think that, oh, any 160 pounder and could just go take him down. Now, it's not really like that, guys. Like, I've been training since I was in kindergarten. I started wrestling in kindergarten. I went on to win a state championship, to win the toughest tournament in the country they call Ironman. I went on to win that. I really am pretty good at what I do. I've been doing it my whole life. So anyone that really tries to go and wrestle Bradley because they just see me take him down, it may not go the same way. I have skills. I've trained my whole life. That's what I've done. I wrestled through college, and I went back and coached my little brother in the high school, and then essentially I decided I wanted to change my route, and that's when I moved out to LA and I started doing fitness content. So I went back to the wrestling route. I'm like, you know what? I got a great idea. Let's prove the internet wrong. Let's prove Bradley Martyn wrong. It ain't how big you are, how much you can bench. It's about the skill, the technique, and the work you put into your sport.
I think an interesting thing for us to do is to pull up the clip, because I didn't realize you had a different angle of the grapple with Bradley. And what I'll do is I'll play it in slow motion, because what we've got to do here, Giorgio, we've got to prove these haters wrong. Because I had a few of them in my comments say, "Oh, he didn't know what he was doing. He was just holding on for dear life. Bradley fell over. Bradley ended up on top." On this channel, we want to educate ourselves about lifting and about martial arts and grappling and kickboxing, whatever. So if you could educate the viewers on how you tackled this grappling situation as we go. So let's play it from here. I think right, here we go.
Okay, guys, so as you see right here, you can pause it right there. Bradley went to the back of my neck collar, right? So as I'm going down to the ground, he's kind of throwing me right into his leg. So if you notice, I take my left hand and wrap it around the back of his leg, and then my right hand around the other side of his leg too. And what that does is it almost kind of locks the leg in position for me, but Bradley's really strong here. So you'll start to see me wrap my leg. Go ahead, pause it right there. You start to see me wrap my leg around his. If I didn't do that, Bradley would just pick me right up off the ground. But I'm smart enough to know that, hey, man, I got my left arm this way, my right arm this way. They're basically crossing, making X's. I got them tied in. And then I take my right foot and I wrap it around his ankle. That way, when he goes to lift me up and pull back like he does, he's going to fall right on his butt. And as he went to try and lift me up, he was only helping me take him down.
Yeah, and a little extra point on that as well, Giorgio. I like the way you explain that. I think that's something I talked about on my video. The way you locked this leg behind his prevented him from doing his signature move, which is usually, if you've seen his grappling exchanges, he always grabs round the waist and just lifts up, which you're going to do when you've got that level of strength. Like, that's going to be your default move. But one thing that I liked as well, and I couldn't see from the other angle, so this is a really good angle, is when you see most people go for the single leg or you go to take someone down, is they have the arse up in the air and the legs are a little bit more straight. You've got your feet underneath you. You're almost in a squat. You're in a squat position, aren't you? So you've got a really good solid base there to drive through your legs. I didn't see that from the other angle.
That's where all your power comes in wrestling, man. It's all about the legs. So you gotta have a good base with your legs. That's where all your power is from. So absolutely, I was in perfect position here. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Okay, so we're moving forward from here then. So yeah, you wrap that leg, and then from there.
Let me tell you, look at my head right here. I'm gonna tell you, every pound of 260 went straight on my head. I like almost passed out. Like, it hurt so bad, but I was like, you know what? No way am I letting this happen, and no way am I gonna just sit here under his legs. No way I'm gonna let this end like this. I landed straight on my head. I'm taking him down now. Literally landed straight on my head. It hurt so bad.
Yeah, I didn't realize from this angle that this happened, but your head is right under his lat, and oh man, honestly, I don't know how you didn't get KO'd from that, or at least really dazed. But as you're saying, the adrenaline's flowing, all the cameras are on you. This is your moment to shine. One thing that wrestlers are known for is having that grit and that resilience. It's such a grueling sport, so I'm sure that probably helped a lot.
It's all about the mindset and the heart. When things get hard and when things hurt, you can't give up. It's about the heart and the mindset. And with wrestlers, that's installed in us. We don't give up.
You can see his entire weight. Bang. Oh, man.
That was a hard slam on my head. But, man, I had a headache for 4 straight days.
I'm not surprised, man. Okay, cool. So, right, from here, how are we getting out of this position then?
As you see here, man, Bradley's a big dude. I'm kind of stuck under him. So what I have to do is, in this position right here, okay, there's 2 things I could do. I could just circle around to his left leg. So if you see my right arm, what I could have done here is I could have taken my right hand, slid it down to his ankle, and just pulled his ankle to me. Because essentially what that does, I'm on the back of the knee right now, but if I would have taken my right hand and slid it down to his ankle, I could have kind of just pulled his knee like this way and locked it out, and there's nothing he could have did about it. But I had to use different technique against Bradley because he was so big. So the best option for me here was to get my ankles out to the side and get his weight off of me. Where I am right here, right? I'm in on a double. You see me in on a double. So the way I would finish this on someone my own size is I would scoot in. Once I get him up a little bit, like you'll see if you play a little bit, go ahead and play. So you see right there, I'm doing a little cutback with my knees on the side. I'm getting the angle. And what that just did right there is that just shifted half of his weight off of me. Not only did it shift half his weight off of me, it gave me the direction and angle to use my legs to go the way he's putting his body weight and get him off of me.
Right. Yeah, because you can see the Bradley, he was previously leaning over you. His center of gravity was a lot more towards like your lower back. But now by you tucking your knees in, you've almost pushed him back. His backside, his ass is now back over his heels a little bit more. So it gives you a little bit more room to work.
Right. And if you play a little bit more, I'll show you what I'm talking about with what I would have done if it were someone my own size. So as I'm coming up here, right here.
Yep.
So right here, pause it. So because Bradley's so big, I couldn't do this. But typically what I would do in this angle is my right knee, how you see it. Typically, this is very technical, high level technique. Typically, I would take my right knee and put it on the other side, not his leg in the air, but on the other side of his other leg. And what that would do is I do a little dip with my right knee and it would knock out his knee and he would go straight down. But because he was so big, I couldn't do that. That's how you have to approach the big guys because they're so strong. So I almost ran around with him a little bit here. As go ahead and play.
Yeah.
Here. Boom. Right.
We got some of Bradley's crack showing there a little bit. Might have to
Oh,
censor that for YouTube. Please don't demonetize me. That's one thing I commented on, is the way you was turning the corner nicely. And people were saying, obviously, that you didn't know what you was doing. And I was trying to explain to people in the comments that even just that move in itself is not something that you would see someone who doesn't know what they're doing perform. The way you had the agility to turn that corner and keep it going, like, because Bradley's pretty much on top of you, not only requires so much athleticism to do this right here, but to keep turning, keep turning, keep turning, and then the way you do a 180 there, you can just tell that you're really experienced.
and I had limited space to work with, so it's not like I could take him to the side and drive him through the crowd.
Yeah, man, look, you got the bench right here. And when these sort of interactions go down, everyone gets closer. Everyone, like, wants to see more and more. And so playing forwards a bit from here then. Right, okay, so we change angles.
So all I have to do here now, because Brad's on his hip and you start to see me do, is I do like a little shuffle to left. I just get on top. And that's my finishing of the two. In the sport of wrestling, I got both legs covered with my legs. He's on his hip. But Brad's lucky we stopped right here, guys. Because if we didn't stop right here, I would have, I hate to say it, but I would have embarrassed him so bad, because would not be getting up. When a wrestler takes you down, you're not going to get up. And Bradley knows that. He's lucky we stopped when we did, because he wouldn't have been able to get off the gym floor. And I promise you on that.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you said that, because that's something I said as well, is that this was stopped early. People who were saying that, oh, Bradley clearly won it because he is still over Georgio. It's like, no, it's a common thing that people assume because someone's got someone in a mild headlock. Inexperienced people think that this right here is a dominant position, and oh, he's got him in a headlock, he would have choked him out. First off, just because someone's got you in a headlock doesn't mean that, you know, they're going to tap you out. Secondly,
No.
he was on his ass, and as you said, you could have kept driving through, and this was the beginning of the end.
My next move was take my hips, hop over to the left side of him, then Bradley's on his back.
There we go, guys. That proves Georgio knows what he's talking about. And here on the Shaun Jones channel, we're about the truth. But let's jump into the sparring a little bit. Right, so Georgio, I come from a predominantly striking background myself, kickboxing. I'm like 5'10". When I'm in really good shape, I'm 175 pounds, about 12% body fat. I'm always sparring against bigger fighters. Like, a lot of the lads in kickboxing are like 6'1", 6'3". Some of them are skinny, but they're still taller. So, like, I actually prefer fighting and sparring against bigger, taller fighters. Obviously, I've got a bit of grappling experience myself, but what's your experience being like with the whole size versus technique thing? Maybe speak a little bit on that.
Yeah, so when you go into a wrestling room, the first thing they're going to do is, you know, your partner's going to be your size, right? And that's for the majority of people. But I will say I am a few of exception. I have always wrestled from my weight to the heavyweights in my room. And the reason I did that is because I always wanted to get better. No matter what it was, I didn't care how big you were, how strong you were. I'm down to wrestle you. And it's funny because I never forget one day in college, I'm wrestling at Cleveland State. And I asked the heavyweight to go with me, huge dude, strong dude, not like a fat heavyweight, fit heavyweight. And my college coach was like, are you sure you want to go with him? I'm like, yeah, I want to go with him. What do you mean? Yeah. He's like, all right, just be careful. Well, I'm going to tell you, I beat him 15-0. He didn't take me down once, and my coach couldn't believe it. So when it comes to size and wrestling in the room, I've never been afraid to step with the biggest guy in the room. I don't care how big you are, how little you are. If you want to wrestle me, if you're down to wrestle me, let's do it. Size has never mattered with me, because sometimes the bigger guys are the easier guys. It's all about, so like, using their momentum against them, the push, the pull, use that weight against them. And the bigger guys, they're a lot slower. So I can juke to the left and be in on their right leg before they even know what happened.
Yeah, so you're totally right there, Georgio. You're getting more work from the bigger guys because they're stronger. So it's going to help you improve your strength, and you're getting more experience against them. So it benefits you, but then it also benefits them because you're faster. You've got a bit more agility. Okay, and another little question for you. I started martial arts first, and then I found in the grappling department that I was a bit undersized. I knew the techniques. I knew how to do arm bars and rear naked chokes, but the people who were my same experience level were all fully grown men, and I was only 17, 18 years old, and I was really skinny. So that's why I started lifting weights, and I found that lifting weights really complemented the grappling side of things, but the technique had to be there. What's your experience being like with the lifting weights and the strength complementing the wrestling?
So I'm actually really glad you asked me this question. So when you lift weights, you know, there's all different types to lift weights. So you got your power lifters, you got your bodybuilders, you got your CrossFitters. For me, the way I style my workouts is, so let me give you an example here. So let's say I'm doing a triangle tricep pull down bar, right? So for me, that's like snapping someone's head down on the mat. So how I incorporate when I do triangle tricep push downs, what I do is I'll go down as fast as I can, because that's like me snapping as fast as I can. And then I'll go up as slow as I can, resisting it, because that's like their head pulling it up. And so I lift weights training for wrestling. I don't want to lift weights like a bodybuilder to be huge and big. I want to lift weights to be strong and quick.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? You're so right. It's all sports specific. You want to train how you want to perform. If you want to train like a bodybuilder, then guess what? You're going to perform like a bodybuilder when it comes time to run or wrestle or whatever it might be. But to go back to what you said about being explosive and then controlling it, it's just popped into my head. That makes so much sense, especially for wrestling. I'm a personal trainer. I've got background in coaching. If you think about it, when you're throwing a punch, it makes sense to lift weights explosively up and down, because you have to retract the punch back just as fast as you threw it out. Whereas wrestling, as you said, you've got that power aspect, and then they're resisting against you. It's a lot more of a grueling, isometric, static, and yeah, you have to push and pull. It's different aspects to the training that are necessary with a striking sport versus a wrestling sport. So, Georgio, whose idea was it to set up the sparring? It was chaotic. What happened?
Honestly, dude, a circle just came out of nowhere. I didn't even know what was happening. So I kind of walked over. I saw some dude with gloves on. They're like, "Oh, who wants to box this kid?" And like, I waited for a second. I didn't put my hand up right away or say nothing. No one did. So like 10 seconds, I'm like, all right, let's do it. Like, I'm down. So I was actually the first fight there was, as far as I'm concerned. And so, yeah, bro, it kind of just happened. I don't know whose idea it was, who started it, but people had gloves on, and there was a circle, and there was one guy in the middle. I'm like, let's do it.
Right, okay. So do you have any striking background whatsoever?
Not really. I mean, I box just to kind of stay in shape sometimes, but like I'm just like hitting the bag, and I'm don't have like too much technique. I do train every now and then. I actually just started training like this past week and a half. I was training more than I ever have. So I say honestly, boxing background, I'm not very technical. I don't even have like a full year of boxing. I do it for fun, enjoyment on the side. But speaking of that, I have a bare knuckle tryout fight today. I got to beat 3 dudes to get signed to the league. I'm all about it, man. I'm all about combat. So that's installed in me. That's what I live for. So we're gonna hop out there with some bare knuckles today. We got 3 fights. If I win all 3, we get signed to the bare knuckle leagues. I don't really have experience, no, but I have been in a lot of street fights, I guess, growing up, just because, people look at me and I'm smaller, they got no idea. But my thing is, I've been in a lot of fights and I've never lost a fight. And the first thing I do if I'm gonna get in a fight, man, I look at their ears. If they don't got ears like mine, that's an automatic win for me. So that's like, I had no idea that I was even like fighting. So this guy's an MMA fighter,
Yeah.
and I guess I knocked this dude out and he wanted to fight me. I had no idea I was even about to be fighting again. And then everyone's like, "Oh, where's the wrestler dude? Where's the wrestler dude?" Well, my friend comes up to me. He's like, "Yo, you're about to fight." I'm like, "What?" I was like, "Nobody told me I'm supposed to fight." I guess everybody was like waiting for me in the circle. I'm over here filming a video for my YouTube video. My buddy comes over. He's like, "Everyone's waiting for you. Everyone's waiting for you." I'm like, "What do you mean everyone's waiting for me? Nobody told me nothing."
I'm a gym owner myself, and I was saying that like Bradley shouldn't let this happen to this intensity. And I did say fair play to Bradley as well, because you can see here in the middle, he's like, whoa, 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 calm down, because the intensity was up there, and obviously it resulted in a knockout. I come from a striking background, so one thing I can confidently speak on, even though you've got no formal striking skills, the thing that's going for you is the pressure. As long as you're keeping your chin tucked down and you're throwing those shots, you're probably going to catch someone, unless you're dealing with someone who's really, really defensively sound, and they might be able to counter you on the way in. But I'd say for someone who's never had any formal striking experience, you don't look completely inexperienced. You're not throwing big windmills that you see people throw. You're generally keeping your chin tucked. You've always got your feet underneath you, which is probably from the wrestling, good balance, good center of gravity, and you're throwing straight shots, you're throwing hooks. If you start actually properly boxing training, I think you've got a good foundation that you're building from. How old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay, yeah, so you're still young as well. And what are your stats as well? So height and weight.
So I am 5'7". I'm 164 pounds right now.
I said in my video that you could tell that the Mexican was, as you said, a little bit more technically sound. Just the sheer amount of pressure that you put on him here, you can tell the only option he had was to really cover up.
And that's the D1 wrestler inside of me, the sheer like brutal, like I'm coming at you. You want to fight? Let's fight. And with this guy, he was a little bit taller with me. So if you notice, like I try to stay in close because I'm shorter. His arms are longer than mine. So I had to really stay in tight with him and stay close to the action with him. I couldn't let him get distance because that's when his body, that's what he's used to. You know, he's got longer arms. He's a boxer. That's what he wants. That's the last thing I want. So that's why I was really putting the pressure on him, trying to stay in close with him and get these power shots off right up in his face instead of the distance where, you know, he's used to. He got longer arms and then he has the advantage.
And I think in the second round, you could see that he was able to get off a few more shots. Was that just from the fatigue that you was experiencing?
At this point, I'd been wrestling all day. I just got done boxing. I didn't even know this. I was about to box again. I kind of just got thrown into it. And yeah, to be honest with you, bro, I threw a lot of power shots, a lot of shots fast, and I gassed myself out a little bit in the second round. You see, like towards the end, I was getting winded, but I was still throwing punches.
Yeah.
And I was still coming out. I did see that you gave him the second round. I still think I won both, but
yeah, that was. I always try and reserve my reaction to be as authentic as possible. I think when I watched it back again, editing, I was like, oh yeah, that actually was a lot closer than I realised. Wrestlers' gas tanks are always incredible, and that will transfer over to the striking extremely well. If you're unable to get someone out of the first round or the second round, and then you start gassing, that's when your arms start dropping. That's what I was like last week in Dubai because I haven't trained in a year because of being sick and that. My arms were dropping. I was just taking punches just because I couldn't be defensively sound because of the fatigue. Being able to control your gas tank and your own output is something that just comes with experience. But I think that you've got a really good foundation that you're working with, to be honest. I hope the bare knuckle goes well for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I will say the wrestling, you do have to have a gas tank, but I'll say, man, like, the boxing, I feel like it's a totally different kind of condition. And your arms, man, my arms, they just wanted to fall. My arms were burning so bad. I'm like, you know, I'm like that in wrestling. My arms just like being like, oh my God, I can't even keep them up, you know? So it's like another type of conditioning, I would say, man.
Yeah, do you know what would be cool as well? So I'm going to be doing more collaborations this year. I'm going to be getting out to America, Dubai a little bit more. So where are you based? Are you in LA?
Yeah, I'm in LA.
If I get out to LA, we can do a little bit of a collaboration. You can put me through the wrestling ropes and, you know, put me through my paces a little bit. And because I'm really looking to get back in shape this year. So if you fancy doing something like that, I'd definitely be up for a little collaboration with you.
Absolutely, bro. And then like one of my best friends out here, I was just boxing with him yesterday. He's so underrated. He's so good. I don't know if you know Mario Lopez. Yeah, bro. So I train him in wrestling and he helps me with jujitsu. And yesterday, for the first time, we went and sparred for boxing. He brought me to Manny Pacquiao's gym. Bro, this man, you got to check out Mario Lopez, man. He's the real deal. He is good, bro.
So that's Mario Lopez, the TikTok lad, isn't he?
Mario Lopez.
Or do you mean the celebrity?
The celebrity from like Saved by the Bell. He's on the radio. Yeah.
I thought you meant the celebrity at first, and then I was like, wait there. I'm sure there's someone called Mario Lopez on TikTok who's a fitness TikToker or something. I got confused, but okay, yeah. So he's a beast.
He really blew my mind. Mario Lopez, you know, actor, you know, but you never know what people do outside of it, you know. But he was a wrestler. I think he took 6 at California State. He does jujitsu, and I found out yesterday he is one hell of a boxer, man.
Wow, yeah. I mean, well, a lot of people keep it under wraps, don't they? I've done martial arts my entire life, and I think I've got about 3 clips of me actually sparring. But because I would just do it, it was before social media, do it as a hobby, and I wasn't thinking about, put me sparring clips up online. Now that I'm in the world of social media, I'm like, okay, everyone is demanding Shaun Jones sparring footage, so I best get back in the ring and get some footage. But yeah, a lot of people just do it on the side, and you don't realise what people are capable of. And I think that's a good lesson it's a good thing to wrap up on. It's a good reason to have humility, to be humble, because martial arts teaches you that, well, I could go up against someone who doesn't look like much, who might be small, who might be skinny, but then they absolutely whoop me and destroy me. And that teaches me, be humble, because you don't know what anyone's capable of out there. And I think martial arts and wrestling, boxing, whatever, gives you a quiet confidence. Do you agree with that?
I think some of the most humble people are the most dangerous combat people in the world.
Yeah, totally agree. But do you know what, Georgio? Fantastic conversation. We'll let you get to your bare knuckle tryouts. Where can everyone find you? We'll put your links down below.
I would say DM me at Instagram. I appreciate it if you can check out the link below to my YouTube. I just posted a really cool video of Show Me fighting. We kind of went through it here. If you guys want to watch the whole thing, check it out down below. My name's Georgio Polis. My Instagram is Georgio Polis. My Snapchat is G_Polis. I'm actually a verified creator on there. And then my TikTok is _Georgio Polis.
Yeah, awesome. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of you now that you've made a big splash onto the scene with the Bradley Martyn grapple. Thank you for coming on and having this little bit of a conversation with me. It's a little bit of a different format, but hopefully my audience enjoyed it. And yeah, I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Shaun. I appreciate you so much for having me on here and allowing me to explain, what kind of went down within it. And I hope everybody that was saying, that Bradley took me down, I hope they kind of understand now that's not what happened. And for all you guys out there that are wrestlers, keep grinding, man. I love my wrestlers. Wrestling is the best sport in the world, man. It's the hardest thing to do. It takes the most dedication. Just have your faith and keep working hard, man.
Words up to that. I love it. We'll end it there. Thank you, Georgio.
Appreciate you, Shaun. Thank you
Bye.
so much.